Hey, 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 everybody. It's Carmina. Happy hump day. Halfway through the week. We are almost there. I hope you're doing well. As always, thank you so much for tuning in and spending a little bit of time with me, whether you're watching it live or you're watching the replay. I am so grateful for your presence. And today I'm running a little bit behind schedule. I was doing some interesting homework, which you'll have a chance to see in a minute. But anyway, so today we're talking about portion control. We are cracking the code on portion control because it is the key to losing weight. And it's interesting. I was reading a book today, and the author is called Eat It Later. It's a very interesting book. And the author was saying that the fastest way to gain weight is to go on a diet. And I wholeheartedly agree with him. So, as you're tuning in, I just want to take a moment to say hello to Joyce. Hi, Joyce. Thank you for being a faithful watcher of my, I don't know, is that a podcast? No, it's not a podcast. Whatever this is, a Facebook Live. So I'm glad you're here. And I have some good tidbits of information to share with you today, as always. And I would love for you to do me a huge favor as we're getting started. If you know anybody that would benefit from this information, I would love it if you would share with them. And the way you do that is very simple. There is a share button at the bottom of the video. You click share, and that's it. You share with everyone. Hi, Carla. Good to have you here. Okay, so why don't we all take a minute, less than a minute actually, to go ahead and share this Facebook Live with friends, right? So I'm going to do the same as you're doing it. So we're all doing it together and we're spreading the love. All right. So I'm finding the video. There you go. And I am pressing share. And I would love it if you would do the same. Thank you so much for the social currency of spreading the word for me. I appreciate it. All right, so sharing it with our friends at Walk It Off. Hello, Walk It Off members. And here we go. Posted. All right. So today, what I'm going to cover is portion control. And more specifically, I want to talk about um, the modern phenomenon of portion distortion. Okay, I want to also help you figure out what is the right amount for you to eat without you feeling deprived, and more importantly, how to balance your food intake so that you are within the recommended portions every day, but you're not feeling hungry and you're not feeling deprived. Because I can assure you that is a recipe for disaster. Okay, so in case we haven't met yet, my name is Carmina Mevs. I am a certified health coach, and in my private practice, I help busy working moms who are struggling with their weight ease their way into their happy size, right? So that they can show up with confidence, clarity, and confidence in their personal and in their professional lives. And the way I do that is by taking them through my 5-step Slim Down with Ease system that allows them to lose weight, especially around the belly area, without dieting, without depriving themselves, and without punishing exercises. All right, so I want first to reassure you that when I'm talking about portion control, I am not talking about eating tiny portions. This is not what portion control is about. Portion control is about moderation. right? And moderation, again, it's not about sacrificing your feeling of satisfaction when you are at the dinner table, um, for for the sake of saying that you're eating healthy. That's not what it is. Moderation is gradually teaching your body to adjust itself to the same amount, to the smaller amount of food, but still feel satisfied with it. Okay, so I don't want you to think that it's about punishing yourself and leaving the table hungry and all around being miserable, because that's what diets do, right? They put you in a restriction mode, and your brain is going crazy because it's craving and wanting all that extra food that you are denying it. So the panic mode goes in and says, well, oh my God, I'm not being fed. I need the food. Okay. So I am so curious, and I would love for you to play along, whether you're watching the video live or you're watching the replay, and answer this question for me. On a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you after a meal? So 1 being I am still hungry, to 10 being I am too full. And as you think about and answer this question, I want to encourage you to come to this from a place of curiosity, not a place of judgment. It's not about I'm a good person or a bad person depending on my food choices. That's not what this is about. This is simply a question of mindfulness, of being aware, right, of what our body is telling us. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, just let me know when you do that. Okay, I think I'm back. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, let me know how satisfied you feel after a meal. Okay, I see Joyce is saying she's at 6. Okay, okay, that's good. Excellent, right? Because we don't want to be at either extreme of the scale. We want to be satisfied after a meal, right? So today we're talking about portion control, and it's such a deep subject. There's so much we could talk about, but within the 15 minutes that we have together, obviously I'm going to have to condense it, right? But if you have any questions afterwards or while I'm going through it, please feel free to post them in the comments, and or PM me afterwards and I will answer. All right. So why is it important that we talk about portion control, right? 65% of Americans today are overweight or obese, compared to 47% in the early 70s and 45% in the early 60s. So clearly, something has shifted in our diet, in the way we live, that caused that expansion, right, of the waistline. So what happened? Okay. Well, one of the reasons why we're experiencing this epidemic is the portions have exponentially grown in size. So restaurant portions or food packages are much larger now than they were in the past. And so it makes it increasingly difficult for us to really estimate how much we really should be eating, right? So to give you some examples, and those examples come from Lisa Young's book, The Portion Teller. It's a very interesting read. Back in the day, when you went in a restaurant and they served you pasta, they would serve you a cup of pasta, which is about 200 calories. Nowadays, when you go to a restaurant and you order pasta, you most likely have about 3 cups of pasta in your plate. So then the pasta alone, without sauces, without the meat or anything else, you're already at 600 calories. Do you see that? Let's take an everyday example, bagel. right? Back in the day, a bagel used to be 2 to 3 ounces. Now, if you order a bagel, Dunkin' Donuts or wherever, you're easily in 5 to 6 ounces. So I'm going to show you, because it's hard sometimes um, to imagine the numbers. So I did some homework to show you the difference, right, in portion sizes. So the red one is the 3 ounce bagel, and the blue one is the 6 ounce bagel, right? So when you put them next to each other, do you see how much more that we are eating without, and for us now it's normal, right? Because we haven't seen the three ounce bagel. We don't know what that looks like. We're only used to this size, and that's what we eat, right? To no fault of our own. That's what happens. Okay, I thought that was very eye-opening when you put the sizes in perspective. And obviously, if my kindergarten teacher is watching this, she is having a heart attack because clearly I have no idea how to draw circles. But the sizes are pretty much correct. But then I give you an idea. So I want to give you 3 tips to help you control your portion sizes without eating less and without feeling deprived and hungry when you leave the table. Okay? So, the first concept that I want to introduce you to is the concept of the magic plate. So, it's fairly simple concept. The idea is that when you fill up your plate, half of it should be filled with fruits and vegetables, and then you split the other half between your protein and your starch. Okay, so that's in general the concept of a magic plate. Now, people might say, "Oh my God, half a plate of vegetable and fruits." Well, let's be real. Nobody has gotten fat from eating fruits and vegetables. Yes, there are fruits that have more calories than others. Bananas have more calories than cantaloupes. But nobody's gotten fat eating bananas, okay? So don't fret that, because fruits and vegetables, I mean, we had that Facebook Live last week. They are loaded, and you know that. They're loaded with fiber, they're loaded with antioxidants and minerals, so they're good for you, right? They're going to sustain you. But more importantly, they're going to make you feel full faster and longer, okay? Now, what about the rest of the plate? Well, I want to give you a few tips in that area, because most of us don't walk around with a scale, right, to measure the food that we're eating. So I want to give you a handy guide so that wherever you are, you'll be able to measure how much of protein you should have and how much of carbs you should have using your hand. That's why I call it a handy guide. You get the joke? Okay, so when it comes to protein, using the palm of your hand, you want to use this portion, right? And that corresponds to a serving. So that would be roughly about 3 ounces of protein from the palm of your hand without your fingers. Okay? So that's a quick guide. For your starches, so if you're eating rice or potatoes or whatever, or mashed potatoes in that case, you want to use your fist. So your fist is roughly about a cup of starch. Okay? So again, your magic plate, half of it is vegetables and fruits, and then the other half you're going to divide it between protein. You want a palm size of protein and a fist size of carbs. Pretty easy, right? Cool. And actually, if you would like a guide, my magic plate guide, let me know either in the comments or send me a private message, and I will send you the document. It's a handy to have. Okay. So that's the first trick or tip I have for you. The second one, I call it mind your dishes. Now, I have a quick question for you. In a bag of M&Ms, which color M&Ms is the last ones to be eaten? Can you guess? So we have what? Red M&Ms, blue M&Ms, green M&Ms, and yellow M&Ms. So let me know in the comments if you can guess which color M&M is usually the last one to be eaten in a bag. Let me know in the comments. Whether you're watching live again or you watching the replay, don't be shy about shouting your answers in the comments. It makes it fun. Or there are brown M&Ms too. That's right. I forgot Carla. So Carla thinks the brown ones are the last ones to go. Well, apparently, according to some studies, the blue M&Ms are the last ones to go because blue, the color blue, is actually an appetite suppressant. So what some people are recommending, I haven't seen the studies, so I can speak for that for sure, but I haven't seen the studies, but apparently they recommend eating out of blue dishes because that naturally will suppress your appetite. And if you can imagine blue food, right? You usually don't find that appetizing, right? Because blue is not a natural color for food. So that's one theory. But the other theory about plates that I totally believe in is your plate size. So mind your plate sizes. Do you know that back in the days, our plate size were about 9 inches in diameters? Can you guess how big the average plate size is when you go to a restaurant now? Just give it a guess. We used to be at 9 inches back in the days when obesity was not such an issue for us as a nation. But today, anybody wants to guess before I give you the answer? Today, we are at a whopping 12 inches. So I want to show you what the difference is between those plate sizes. So this is about 10 inches. So it's like one. Great job, Carla. So this is about 10 inches in diameters. Okay. Today's size is 12 inches. So if you go to a restaurant, most likely this is the plate that you're going to be served from. And this is the difference, you guys. Again, do you see why we're having such a hard time, right, with our portion sizes, right? Because our eyes can tell the difference. It's in front of us, so naturally we want to eat it. But there's something that I found even more interesting regarding plate sizes. Again, my kindergarten teacher, if you're watching, this is not your fault. I do not have a steady hand. If I put the same amount of food in 2 different plate sizes, look what happens. You have plate A and you have plate B. Which one of those plates looks more full to you? Imagine that the thing in the center is actual food, right? Plate A looks like it has more food in it, but the reality, it doesn't. It is the same amount of food. Is that because the plate sizes are so much different, it makes us feel like we're eating less, when in reality, it's the same amount of food. So can you see how back in the day, it was easier, right, to eat within the right portion because the plate size was smaller. So we didn't have that feeling of emptiness in the plate that made us feel like, oh, I have to fill that plate up because it's not full enough. Okay, that is the difference. Okay, so that's my second tip, is to choose smaller plates. And if you believe in the color theory, you should eat in from blue plates, and that would, help you diminish your appetite. Well, thank you for the heart. I appreciate it. Okay, and my last tip for you is to slow down, to slim down. Now, it sounds so easy, but in today's age, when we are at the dinner table, we have so many things to attend to that we're just yum, 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 shoving the food in our mouth, right? Because we want to run to the next activity, right? So it is so interesting. I did this experiment once and I thought it was so revealing. Okay. Timing myself when I'm eating. You would be surprised. And I was astounded to find out that it would take me like 2 to 3 minutes to eat dinner. This is insane, you guys. Do you know what we're doing to our system? First of all, we're shoving food in our stomach that's not even digested, right? We didn't take the time to chew the food. We didn't take the time to savor the food. But more importantly, we didn't give a chance to our brain to catch up with our stomach signal that it is full, right? So we keep eating because we're eating so fast, right? The signal doesn't register in our brain that, hey, you're actually full. You don't need any more, right? So I would love to challenge you to a 20-minute meal. So for the next week, okay, I want you to try to eating the same food that you eat, the same portion. You're not changing anything. The only thing that you're changing is the time you're taking to eat the food. Okay? So the challenge is to stretch that meal to 20 minutes, right? And how are you going to do that? First, you're going to breathe, relax. You're at a dinner table. Hopefully, you're eating with somebody whose company you enjoy. So it's a pleasurable experience. So you breathe, you take your time, you relax. Second, you chew the food at least 10 times, okay? At least 10 times. And after you chew the food, I want you to put the fork down in between your bites, okay? So the combination of all those things should extend the timing of your meals. Now, it's probably not going to be, it's not going to happen from one day to the next, right? It's going to take you a little bit of time to work your way up to the 20 minutes, right? So I would suggest the first time you start, right, time yourself. See how long it takes you, all right? And then the next time you have a meal, add 5 minutes to that. So if you're like me and you started with 3-minute meals, well, your next meal, try to make it 8 minutes. Okay? And the one after that, add another 5, make it 13 minutes, right? And the goal is to work your way up to 20. And the beauty of this tip, of this method, if you would, is that you're not changing what you're eating. You're changing how you're eating and who you are being while you're eating. You're not being the stressful, the stressed and in a rush type of person. You're being the mindful and individual who can take time to enjoy a meal. Give yourself the gift, okay, of eating a meal at a healthy pace. All right. So these are the tips that I had for you to help you control your portion size without feeling, leaving the table feeling hungry. All right. So I am so curious to hear from you which one of these tips you felt the easiest for you to implement. So if for you it was eating from smaller plates, type a 1 in the comments. If for you it was the chewing, so the 20-minute meals, write a number 2 in the comments. And then if for you the idea of a magic plate was totally enticing and like, oh, this is so easy, I can still do that, put a 3 in the comments and let me know. You can write it out if you want to. But I would love to hear back from you and see if any of those tips felt, you know what, I could definitely do this. I don't need to go on a diet if I can simply implement one of those options. Okay? Cool. All right. What I'm hoping that you're getting from this is that weight loss doesn't have to be painful. It really doesn't. Because when we go on a diet, right, you can go on a diet for 30 days, 90 days, and really stress yourself out, really, you know, almost force your body to release those pounds. And then, you know, a few months later, it all comes back because you didn't teach yourself how to change your brain, right? You didn't change your a habit. You just changed like a quick circumstance in that moment. And it may give you fast results, but they're not lasting results. Instead, I'm hoping that you will take those little tips, right, and start implementing them in your life gradually and see those changes. Because you know, the truth is, if you think of a jet, if a jet was to make a left turn abruptly, all the passengers would be, you know, knocked over on the side. No, when a jet is making a left turn, he does it so gradually so that we don't even feel the shift, but we know the shift is happening because we are getting to our destination. Um, so this is my wish for you is that you take those tips and you ditch the diet mentality and start getting healthier. Oh, and thank you for answering. I see Carla says she's going to try the smaller plates, and Joyce opted for 2. Oh my God, you're a trooper, Joyce. You go for it. Okay, awesome. So this is what I had to share with you. And again, thank you so much for being live with me today. It's always so much fun to have people to interact with. And if you're watching the replay, I am so grateful for you taking the time because I know you guys, there is so many things that you could be doing right now. So I appreciate you. And as I said before, if you have questions about what we talked about, or if you would like a copy of my Magic Plate guide, send me a private message or let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you. Okay? So with that, I wish you a great rest of the week. I hope to see you here next Monday, same time, same place. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye for now.